spinning. There we go. Hello, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live debrief show. We're talking about the Future Visions session that Jennifer and I did just a few weeks ago. I'll make sure to share the full session link in the chat for you guys. But today we're going to talk all about what came through. We went 25 years ahead and looked into what the Earth is like at that point. And there was a lot that came through, a lot of confirmation of things that we've gotten before as well, and deepening that information. A lot about New Earth, consciousness, emotional balancing, Gaia, nature, even Avalon and like old magic. It was really fun. So we're going to get into it. My name is Jake. If you don't know who I am a hypnotherapist, quantum guide to connect with your higher self, and future vision practitioner as well. And I'm joined today by Jennifer Taylor. Jennifer, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. I consider myself a future vision guide and everything else that comes along with it. But I love creative solutions and just bringing something better to the world, leaving it better than I found it. That's the aim.
A good aim indeed. And I think we are both on that mission together, looking to make things a better place. So let me just go and grab quick the wanted to grab the full session for you guys and share that in the chat for those who have not seen it. Let me plop that in the chat here, because definitely something that you want to go and listen to the full thing. When we do these debrief shows, it's always fun to see kind of what comes up, what we circle back to, what do we touch on, but nothing like experiencing the full session yourself. So go watch the full recording there. But yeah, we went 25 years into the future, and I really have loved these future vision sessions with you, Jennifer, because we've checked out different time periods. We started with 100 years and looked at that 100-year point a few times. And then we kind of backtracked and looked a little closer with Anne and looked at that 5-year point. And then this last session, we were kind of like, where should we go? Should we go to 100 years again? Should we go to 5 or 10? And we decided just to leave it up to the intuitive flow of the session. And so we just got into it, and we ended up going 25 years ahead. And so I think the main thing that came through right away, and really something that I've heard a lot of other people talk about, like this is not just coming through in our sessions, like definitely other psychics, other remote viewers, intuitives, people who are astrologers too, are looking at this. And what so many people are seeing is this exponential change, right? And that was something that you mentioned, Jennifer, when you first were kind of connecting with this time of like, this almost feels like 100 years. Like it feels further out than just 25. That like accelerated change, that exponential change. So what else? I know it's been a few weeks since we tapped into that, but do you remember anything else that you were feeling kind of the start of that, Jennifer, or any insights that you're getting as you think about this kind of like change coming ahead for us? I mean, I feel like we're already in it, right?
Yeah, it's extremely expansive, but it feels like from here to then, there's this. If you were to imagine getting on a boogie board or a surfboard, you swim out and then you catch the wave and you come with it. So it's like once you're already on track for bettering yourself and bettering the world around you, once you're already on that track, you're already within that, you've already caught the surf, basically. That's the feeling, that the kind of a visual symbology, or like an experiential thing that you can kind of connect the two. Is it's easy to be like, live in love, live your purpose, and all those kinds of things, and still have the news or people around you that may say something different, or say, there's things being said to try and keep your frequency in fear, keep your mental clarity and attention in distraction mode or fear mode, so you're frozen and you can't create. But these are the moments right now, and it's okay, acknowledge what has been and choose, do I want to continue as I have been with life not getting any better, and it could possibly even get worse if I continue the way I am, or do I choose to live my life in a better way where I can help myself and others and further beyond that too. So that was very much the feeling of the choice point where we are now, and also the work that we're putting in now helps the next generation. From that channel, and actually I think that is one of my most important pieces of information that has ever flowed through me, actually, to date. That is one of the most important imperative pieces to kind of connect the puzzle, connect the dots, and to really embody it. I listened to it afterwards, like, wow, this is really wise. I may know aspects of it now, but the energy that came with it, I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's funny to say that when you listen back to yourself channeling or bringing in information from the future, because it is a level of channeling, because it's not a current timeline. You're connecting to the infinite stream of time, which is inherently timeless. And you have to rise above, your consciousness must rise above the kind of earthly distractions in order to access and retrieve this information. But it was all highly potent, highly powerful, very profound, but also incredibly simplistic. And the work that you do now will literally affect generations to come. After our talk, I was thinking about how, for a woman, your eggs also contain not just not just your children, but it also contains your grandchildren. The DNA instructions for that. So what has happened in the past when there have been extreme, challenging, tough times for the mother, those imprints, if that has been unresolved, will continue on. That's called epigenetics. So that's why you can see traumas or trauma loops or phobias or bad luck or any kind of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual ill health imbalance that gets passed on from our predecessors. So that was an important point, that for the work that we individually do now will directly and indirectly affect those to come, whether that the actions that you take now and in the future affect your blood family or those that you care for or are close to you and within your circle. There is this ripple effect, and it's so profound. And it was just very heart elevated, extremely heart elevated. And just things were much clearer. The clairsentience, the clairaudience, the clairvoyance, all of these different clairs, which are our extra sensories, which up until this point have been fairly offline for most. But through the development of 25 years in the future, everyone's basically awake. It's en masse. I remember it was 7-8 figures of people that were already like lit like Christmas tree. And sorry, I know I'm talking, but it's kind of coming through me again. It was the mycelium network. I very much felt like everyone around the earth was lit up, like their light bodies. Their bodies were luminescent, and we were all connected to one another. How you have the mushroom network, they've above the ground, they've got their little mushroom heads, but below the ground there's this mycelium network, And so you might see one mushroom, but in fact, you've got miles. I mean, the whole network actually on a planetary scale is it's all interconnected, which is amazing in the first place. So that unity, that connection,
Hmm.
that everything resonated with nature. If it wasn't in nature, it wasn't harmonious, and vice versa. Everyone was so much more interconnected and listening. People had the space to connect to nature, to each other, to themselves, and have that inner journeying work and the work that they do again. And then that next generation that comes in 25 years, like, yeah, it's like every level exceeds the last round of star children that are being born on the planet. And it's not like a good
Hmm.
or a bad or better or worse. It's just deeper levels of awareness, deeper levels of consciousness and connectivity, to Gaia, to source, to one another. Really very, very, very profound. Very profound.
Oh yeah, and I want to get into some of the like expanded awareness and the ways that consciousness is shifting. But when you were talking about like the change and kind of the advice, the guidance for now, I really like I I was thinking about some of the ways that change is talked about, both in like a mainstream way and then also in spiritual circles too. I feel like there's so often this, whether consciously or unconsciously, you're putting that change outside of yourself. Like, oh, this change is going to happen outside of me and it will affect me. And I think one of the things that has been consistent, that message that's come through multiple sessions that we've done, and this importance and this emphasis on the work that we're doing now, the foundation that we're laying now, the all of the uh, efforts and work that we're doing on ourselves now is laying the groundwork for this. It is the change that is coming. And yes, there are the more like waves of like the collective change, right? That do have more of that, sweeping you along. I'm seeing that wave that you were talking about, it's kind of sweeping you along. But there was so much of, I feel like, this session that really did depend on the ways that we are growing ourselves now, that we are working on ourselves now. And it's not, and like there was multiple layers to that, multiple facets to that. um but I think that this work that we're doing now, like this is ushering in the change, and like we are a part of it. And the theme of like magic returning, and that's kind of the next like tag that I really like, I felt so strongly, was Avalon, and this idea of old magic returning, old magic coming back. And i I'm just like reminded about the ways that we have to shift our own perceptions, our own understandings, in order to be able to access these other realms, be able to tap back into this magic. Like, if we're at the same state of consciousness, if we're at the same place and we're not shifting, like we're not going to experience anything different. And I think that's been something we've seen as well, is those people who choose to stay stuck, who choose to stay in um, that frequency, that vibration that they're in currently. But for those watching the show, you probably have some desire to bring that magic back. You have some desire for this new earth that we have started to tap into, that we've started to build. And I really think that 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 magic coming back, that expansion of awareness, of consciousness, of other realms, like our clairs coming back, like you were talking about, this really all, it starts with remembering our own power. And I think that's a big thing, a huge part of the work that each of us does, right, is helping people to connect in with their own power and remember their inherent magic, the ability that you have to craft your reality, to create your reality. And so like, I mean, there's so many things that I want to say on like the Avalon topic too, because there's also, I feel like there's been kind of a wave of people beginning to talk more about Avalon. It's been coming up in different circles. I mean, Sarah Cosme, who's a hypnotist as well, she is comes from Dolores Cannon's line and trained with her. She wrote a book recently on Avalon because she had sessions where they tap back into this ancient time. And a lot of, I haven't read the whole book, but I think a lot of the reason that this is coming back around is because that magic is returning, right? We are cycling back to the higher vibration or the higher frequency of that time now. And it's going to be really cool to see how this all unfolds. But Jennifer, tossing the ball to you, what do you think about like this old magic coming back? I know there was a lot that you saw. I mean, this came up a few times throughout the session. So what are your thoughts? Oh no, I've lost you. I've lost your audio. Oh no, we've lost your audio. Oh, well, Jen figures that out. Hello, Lynn. Good to see you. And for those of you joining, watching now, have you guys seen the full session? What were the things that stood out to you? You know, I put in the chat earlier as Jen and I were figuring out the tech issues, which are still lingering a little bit, but that's fine. This return of the old magic, Avalon, came up a few times, and if you know about Avalon, let me know in the chat. Let me know what you know about that time period, about that. Let's see if Jen's back. Testing. No, you're here visually, but I can't hear you anymore. Maybe one more try. Lynn has not seen it yet. I know it's like such a busy time of year too. I feel like I'm behind on my watchings and my listenings. It's like gardening season, right? So I've been in the garden so much, planting, getting seedlings down. There's still some seeds to plant and some gardens to pull together, but all in all, it is going well, and it's that time of year. So if you've been outside too, I feel like that was the message from the session too, was like the support from Gaia, the support from the earth, from nature. And there was definitely this heavy emphasis on the ways that Gaia is supporting us, that nature can help us to not only do the healing work that we need to do, but the helping us to feel that connection, to practice that connection. I think I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Oh my gosh.
that.
Right, right, Lynn, you blink and you're so far behind on the watch list. It's so true. I mean, especially these days, because the algorithm demands content. And so if you don't keep up on your postings and you don't keep up, you drift down in the things. Yeah, it's tough to keep up on things, but that's where we trust our intuition that we'll be drawn to the videos and the things that we need to watch.
That's right.
Anyway, welcome back.
Thank you. And I wanted to also say, like, it's so useful to go back and rewatch these episodes. Even watching it again, it's a bit like Easter eggs, or more things open and more things click the more times you listen as well. So I will re-listen to it again. I listened to it after we recorded, and you were asked, it was like, oh, it was really great, and you said some things. I was like, I actually can't remember anything I said. So I knew that we went high. We went very, very high.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels, if that's why it's useful being facilitated by someone so they can record it. You can go into details, and it won't just escape. You're like, I'll remember that. Sometimes you don't.
Right. Yeah.
um,
Right. So, Lynn, we were just talking about Easter eggs. I love that. From
yeah,
Synchronicity.
there you go.
Okay, so bringing it back to Avalon, though, and that old magic, what were your thoughts on that energy coming through? And I guess, I mean, Avalon is kind of your neck of the woods, right? I mean, it's tied into the culture of your country and your peoples, even more so than our side of the pond. But what do you know about Avalon? What did you stuck out to you about like this old magic returning?
It just felt for whatever reason that just kept coming to me. Like, it was those times. If I know correctly, and please correct me if I am wrong, or add to it in the comments, uh, Avalon was the time of King Arthur and the Round Table, and also dragons. So the mystical elementals were also visible and present in those times. And the reason why dragons disappeared is because the frequency dropped quite so much of the way humans were behaving, and also towards dragons. I'm no expert at all, but that's the sense I get, is that egoic part, that part that wants to be right, or to slay, or to own everything and control everything, or whatever it might be. That lack vibration, that lack mentality, those destructive actions that happened in the past. That's also what that's how vibrations continue to fall, and the consciousness of humanity has been rising since then. Life is always about peaks and troughs, and it's the same as an individual experience as much as it is as a collective experience. So we have been steadily finding our way individually and collectively back up. We're using our hearts. We're returning. We are returning our connection back to source. We are returning our connection back to ourselves, to our hearts. That is how we process years, lifetimes worth of suffering and pain that happens, that would continue to happen as karmic loops, karmic patterns, karmic contracts, things that would cause a loss to you rather than a gain. And when it's that kind of thread, and now I've completely lost my thread.
I love. I mean, I know Lynn has a connection with the dragons. Her and I did a dragon session a few months back. That was so much fun. But yeah, Lynn saying we don't own the dragons, at least not the ones hanging out with me, right? Yeah, definitely there's definitely different schools of thought, different. I think different timelines that people have tapped into as far as what did actually happen and how did it all unfold. And I think there's levels to it. Because some of what Lynn and I saw were actual conflicts. I also have heard from other people that they don't believe that there were any actual physical conflicts between the dragons and humans. Other people, talk about the frequency shift, and I think it's probably a mixture of all of the above, and you probably have different like phases, I guess, or different. I don't think it was like one day the dragons just disappeared. I think it was probably something that was unfolding over a period of time.
Yeah, I was just thinking, in my life, I have seen a fairy with my own eyes.
I just saw one.
And she was so surprised that I could see her. But it's that like innocence, that in your heart, unconditional, loving innocence. That's why children see things. They have imaginary friends. They might not be imaginary. They're just in a different frequency. So our children are constantly telling us that, and same thing with animals as well. You'll see it with cats. They'll just be like looking, not at anyone, not at anything in particular, but they're looking, and they are animals are very good protection,
Mhm.
energetic protection in the home,
Mhm.
especially when you have children as well, because they act as an additional um, guide, companion, caregiver, guardian angel, but with fur and bones, sort of. They're there, they're actively present. So yeah, so the children have this naturally. It's within their state. They see it, and we are beginning the return
Yeah.
back to this childlike innocence where we access truth and what is true with pure discernment and also openness, rather than in a constant state of rejection of, well,
Mm.
I can't prove, you can't prove that, so it's not real. Children don't have that, and that's why they're able to access more layers within existence until those senses get shut down by people, places, things that don't I want to say cultivate or like care, or be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, do you remember having any lives before this one? That's a really great question to ask your little ones, especially when they're little. If they're speaking anywhere from, they'll start. There will be more of that,
Mhm.
a lot more of that, and every generation, every 20, 25 years, the next batch of babes will come in and they will be more activated, have more remembrance, but they'll also hold more peace within them for being able to have access to those their multidimensional history, past, present, future history. History isn't the right word, but you get my timeline.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that, and that theme of evolution, of the shifting, the changing, the I remember at a few points you talked about the children coming in, um and how their consciousness, their awareness, their openness does begin to shift. And um it was interesting because this evolution, um there was a few threads that we followed, and then I like wanted to circle back, but then I wanted to come back to this topic and we never did. And the thing that we never circled back to was the physical changes that were happening in the body. And we because the you were getting the sense that technology, yes, was going to change. Technology is changing, consciousness is changing, and like the combination of the two definitely is shifting things for us. But there's also this physical switch, and we didn't. And I don't know, let me know if you have insights that you remember, or if you're getting any more downloads here
Mm.
now as we tap back in. But as I was thinking about it post session, I was thinking about the ways that more and more we're seeing and understanding the true nature of our bodies, and their formation out of light. The light that is emitted, the light that is constructing us, that makes us up. And sometimes I wonder if some of like these physical shifts and changes, and even some of the consciousness, like, is it simply a perception switch on a larger scale, where we understand our bodies in a different way? Not that they're not changing, but like, I wonder, like, is so much of our reality is perception, and is how we perceive uh what's inside and outside. And so I don't know, it was just a thought that I was having about this like physical shift, this physical change. I'm not discounting that there is going to be like actual physical changes to us. But yeah, what do you think, Jen?
So, what was flowing to me was about how first of all, it was our crystalline body, which, if you can research right now, fascia, which is this kind of water-like substance, almost like jelly. It holds kind of our whole bodies together, all the different aspects of us: bone, ligaments, muscles, tendons, all that. So it's in this crystalline water state, which is structured water. Amazing. I mean, that's frigging fantastic, even just learning that. And that's just right here, right now in 2026. What was flowing through was how, with the consciousness elevating, people's awareness around food would elevate, and people would begin that inwards journey of taking more of an active role within their food production, and also through their levels of processing their emotions. Things like food addictions would also slowly begin to soften out and reduce to the point where people don't eat for an emotional comfort. They truly cherish every meal because it will bring more nourishment and life and vitality to every cell in their body. So, and I just keep getting this like fresh salad, fresh homegrown salad, and being so satiated with it. You put your little things with it. But people being able to eat a lot less, being a lot fuller energetically, and also just softer. They won't have the emotional baggage of the day. It's not going to be the same. It feels like the stresses of the day to day melt away. So the things that we may take for granted, like we'll go to the grocery store to get food, items for the week. Everything starts to shift and change, like almost like a 180. But people really enjoy the pace of slowing down in life and not rushing, because when you rush all the best things. You rush growing food yourself. You rush eating it. You rush not having the experience of sharing it with a loved one. Those kinds of things, the small in-between spaces of enjoying a nourishing meal and having an active part in their own health and vitality, and also their own alchemy and chemistry with life. Like, it's what you can do with one meal. Say, for instance, mums are really great for this. There's always that saying of, oh, you can't beat mum's cooking. Like that, it's so full of love. Like people really on that inwards restorative journey, and all aspects of life, they bring their consciousness to it, which elevates it. And again, it's that our bodies will adapt. It will be subtle for some, might be more extreme for others, and it feels like there'll be more people that can do the sun gazing, some not sun breathing, that kind of thing. Yeah. Because it's the imagine a plant, and they have chlorophyll, and they're capturing the sun as energy, and humans have the same thing, and it's accessing those. Actually, we know someone who's done this as well. Kati Turipuru.
Oh, yeah.
So she had an experience. I'm sure she won't mind. We'll tag her in this. She had an experience with this. Actually, I'm not sure if that was a public one or not. All right. Apologies. I won't go any further in any more details.
No, I mean, there's people out there who have had these experiences. People that I'm sure there's people in the chat who know someone who has, and I don't know anyone specifically who's like gone onto the light diet and like stayed there. I know people who have done it for periods of time.
Yeah.
I think we're at a point where it's like consciousness is opening up to the possibility of something like that. And I think your point about the food is so huge, because I really see that. I see those shifts in my own life. I see that in other people's lives. Like, there's so many people, awake or not. I mean, there's so many people who are looking to grow their own food. They're putting buckets on their patio or on their balcony, or they're, getting grow lights for their apartment, or, they're putting in a bed in their backyard. I mean, so many people are doing this, and realizing that, oh, like, this food is actually living. This food actually has nutrients and life to it, rather than that thing that you bought at the store that, is closer to plastic than not. Um, there's so much nutrients and like life missing from the food that's generally available to us at this point. And I think some of that is pushing us to what we need to do, which is a closeness to the land, a reconnection, a remembering of, the ways that energy is given and taken. And I think we're so removed from that uh, process that, like, we're not going to have the expansion of consciousness and our psychic gifts if we're not building a body that can sustain that, if we're not building a mind and a consciousness that can do that sort of a thing. I mean, we're not isolated. Our systems are not isolated. Everything's interconnected. And I think that's one of the things that really um, stuck out, and was another through line, was and I'm going to transition here, because there was so much guidance from the future in what we can do now, and the emotional piece. That was definitely something that was touched on a few times, elaborated on, really the ways that in this future, just 25 years ahead, we are so much more in balance, and we have the ability and the awareness to rebalance ourselves when we're out of balance. And, you know, I think that sometimes this concept of like emotional balancing and like taking care of your emotional self, like, it can tip into the like everything's love and light and there's no darkness out there kind of vibe. And that's definitely not what we're here to preach today. Because the the healthy expression of anger, of rage, of sadness, of grief, of any of the other, emotions that we experience as humans, like, we are meant to move through those and experience those. But it's when we get stuck and we're not able to find equilibrium again, when we're not able to find our way back to a centered place, and we're stuck in that negative emotion, we're stuck in that grief, or we're stuck in that rage or anger or whatever. That's when that's when problems happen, right?
Yeah.
And so I definitely I wanted to touch on that as a really key piece that future you like told us to do, is like taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, taking care of your heart. And this emotional balancing, I think, was a big piece of that.
Yeah.
What do you think on that, Jen?
It is the absolute key to all of your wishes fulfilled. And it's such an important point, especially if you look at your life, you're like, why is everything not working out? You've got some things that require your love, care, and attention and acknowledgement. Not to say that you need to hold on to these things that cause you pain and suffering, but just allowing your awareness to come across them and say, thanks for the experience. You know what? I learned this, and now I'm ready to release it. You don't need to go through that process, but sometimes that can be a really nice way of acknowledging what the lesson was, acknowledging what you wouldn't do again, and then acknowledging what you would do differently in the future. That's like resetting the game. resetting your system, and the choices that you make and you continuously choose to make that are aligned with love, aligned with living as consciously as possible. And when I say consciously, it means truly just being aware of yourself and also of others, knowing what is in the highest and greatest for all concerned, and knowing when to have healthy, strong boundaries as well. That is part of the healing process. That is part of the balancing, the recognizing the emotions, and knowing that it's just a wave in the sea. It's not the whole ocean. It's just part of your journey, of that experience. And just like water, it forms into another shape. And just continuing to be sweet with yourself. This is how we change generations. This is legacy work. The going inwards, going through your own heart, doing your inner work, day by day, moment by moment. That's how we change things. And it's at an individual level. And we can keep doing that. And it's okay the days that we're not acting in our best possible, greatest moment. But acknowledging that and being sweet and kind with yourself and figuring out what's okay, next day, next moment. How can I turn up better for myself and for others? And do your best to just keep taking the highest road and not being swept into other people's drama or toxicity or control patterns. Like, really own your power, own yourself, because if you don't own it, someone will try and claim it from you. And it's up to you whether you allow that or you stand with yourself, stand with your own heart and say, you know what, I love myself enough to choose better in every moment.
And I love that you brought that up too, because the lows, those lulls, the steps backwards, as it sometimes feels like, that was something that stuck out to me as well when we looked at that 25-year point. It wasn't that there wasn't ever any challenge. It wasn't that there wasn't ever any, lower vibration or lower frequency or tougher emotion, tougher situation. But it was a point where we were as a whole more collectively conscious, more collectively responsible and managing how we showed up. And I think that has a ripple effect, because we all know how emotions or energy can be transferred between people, especially if you don't have good boundaries, right? Even if you have the best intentions, you can sometimes still absorb things, and especially with those that you're close with. I mean, I love you, Corbin, but sometimes when you're with your partner, you can pull each other down or pull each other up, right? You can have that effect on each other. But I think that point about like the lows and the lulls still happening in the future, I think it's important to mention, because I think sometimes there can be this like self-blaming, or like this critical perspective that we can sometimes take, where it's like, oh, I'm not doing the healing fast enough, or oh, I'm in this negative emotion, like I'm pulling humanity down, I'm holding the vibration back. And it's like, no, that's not helpful. That shame that you're feeling is so much worse than that anger or that grief or jealousy, or whatever emotion that you're feeling that you'd rather not feel. Shaming yourself for it is going to make it worse. Hurting yourself through that like isn't going to make it better. And I think that remembering that the ebbs and the flows, the steps forward, the steps backwards, they're all a part of our journey. And I think our understanding of frequency is just like we're just scratching the surface. And I think there's ways that we've really made things black and white and good and bad, and we've leaned into the polarity or the duality of it all. instead of remembering the natural order of things. You know, you think about the ways that animals exist in the wild, and they're not always love and light. Animals are not always, um, you know, just like out there spreading beautiful, positive vibes. Like sometimes there's some contention, sometimes there's conflict. Anyway, I'm just like rambling now, but I think
No,
you get
it's
my point,
valid.
right? Like there's
Totally valid.
yeah, yeah.
And you're right. It I would say red flag if you are living in a world where everything is sunshine and roses. Sure, make sunshine and roses the prominent feature in your world, but also don't push away the feelings that make you sad or feel lonely or depressed or anxious. Because if you were to ask yourself, ask your emotions, why am I feeling this way? Where has this come from? And what can I do now to make it better? And it might just be release it. Okay, I acknowledge it. Now, give it to source. Charge it with love. Learn from it. It's so much of this is about being able to reflect and make better decisions. It's really simple. It's so simple most people won't do it.
Yeah.
But it's the opportunity to elevate your life and your reality into stratospheres that you could only dream of. And when you begin this like journey, like, well, don't feel anxious or depressed all the time doing this work now, because I've met myself with the love, care, and attention that I wish I had growing up. I wish I had from a parent or a guardian that was with me, but they weren't able to give that to me. So I had to go through this whole journey to be there for myself, be my own champion, be my own best friend, be my own best parent. Like this is part of the journey. It's not a blame culture. It's not a shame culture. It's not a guilt culture to yourself or others at this point. This is a major structural part for elevating, is not getting so stuck and black and white and fixed on what they're right and they're wrong. And everyone's got a story, and in every story, someone's going to be the villain and someone's going to be the hero. And if you were to look at it on both sides, you would probably see like completely different stories. So it's not necessarily about the other person. It's about your personal experience and how you processed it, how you felt in those moments. And it's not about anyone else. That's the main part when you go through your own heart, is that you meet yourself fully with love and say, I love myself enough to meet myself. What is it that my inner me is trying to tell me? And it could be through body pains, just how you're showing up in the world, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of it. Everything's always telling you about you. The world is telling you about you. How are you reacting to the world? It's huge. And if you get to the point where you don't feel so reactive when bad things happen around you, you know that your energy is no longer being fed on by other people's destructive actions, whether they're true or not. It's like, well, that's your monkey and your circus, but I'm over here on a beach or having a walk through nature. I don't need to be involved with other people's tornadoes of chaos, because what happens? They'll pull you into it. They'll pull all their drama, they'll pull all their gossip, they'll pull all their negativity, and soon enough you'll find yourself in the middle of one mega dark cloud, even though it looked like all bright and sunshine from the outside. And it can turn real nasty real quick when people don't process what they already have within themselves. Because if you don't process it, what lies within will continue to amplify in everything you do. And that's the reason why this processing is so important. It also helps you manifest your dreams and desires, but you can do it from a balanced position, not from a in total lack, everything's going wrong. It's like, okay, well, how can you show up every single day being the version of you that has the thing that you do want, not what you don't want? It's just, there's so many levels. I'm giving away some goodies, and I hope those that are listening to this, it's touching your heart and it gives you inspiration so you can do it in the moments that you need, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, lifetime by lifetime. Like this is soul evolution. Like this is soul evolution, and it all starts with emotions. It's really exciting because it's really simple, but it takes consistency.
And the messages are resonating. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you. Barbara says, good messages. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, that self-love, cherishing yourself, devotion to your own growth, like understanding the unfolding of life and your experiences. And I think because you mentioned anxiety, and anxiety is one of those that like I struggled with for a long time, and I still have moments of it. But as I learned to listen to the messages that it was giving to me, rather than viewing it as this problem that I needed to solve, or viewing it as this inherent thing wrong with me, when I started to look for, okay, what is this saying to me? And I had my own journey with physical things too, where it's like, what is this pain showing to me? And it might be as simple as I need to stretch, or I need to move my body. I need to go for a walk. Like there can be that really basic message being communicated. Or it can be something deeper, like, hey, that anxiety is telling you where you're leaking your energy. That anxiety is showing you where you're not focusing your energy and intention properly. And it's not a judgment thing. It's your soul saying, hey, you can do more. Hey, look at this. Like, have you seen this dream that you want to build? Like, you can build it. You just need to put your energy into it. And yeah, Corbin saying pearls. We're giving out pearls today. Absolutely. I think the idea of bringing our awareness, our intention, our consciousness into our day-to-day is really what this is all about. Because like having a session and that profound experience is great, but how do you then live that out day to day? How do you bring the profound transformation, the spiritual awareness, the emotional awareness? How do you bring that into your daily, into your the things that the normal things, right? Because that's where New Earth gets built. It's not built in the I guess I won't say that. It is built in the quantum, like we build it there first, but it's like it's never going to show up in the physical if we don't build it here too. If we're not filtering it down, if we're not bringing it down, it's not going to happen. And each of us has a part to play in that. That's why we're here.
Absolutely. And it is, we are building from our future clear visions what the best possible world and reality looks like for all concerned. And it is that inner peace, and it all stems from that. And it's listening to your inner guidance and inner soul. Same with anxiety. I've had periods of real deep anxiety in my life, and it was always at points where something wasn't quite right, or my energy wasn't being put, or wasn't being used for the right things, or it was being drained. So those are all valid things that our conscious and our unconscious mind are constantly communicating, and it's up to each and every single one of us to be able to identify and listen to ourselves and what our bodies are trying to tell us, what our subconscious is trying to tell us. But watch, just be observant of yourself. Just start with yourself. In fact, this is a really good start. And when there's moments when you feel like you're being sucked into, say, celebrity stories or something outrageous, just stop and take a moment, and especially if it's really grabbing you, and then ask yourself, where does this resonate with my own life and my own story? Because oftentimes the things that you feel most passionate about supporting or knowing about or being engrossed in whatever it might be, a subject matter, is because it is relevant to you somehow, to your story, to the things that you have or have not processed yet. And it's a profound tool. This is just really good reflection tools, and it again helps to process emotions, so you stop feeling sticky and you stop getting stuck on the things that don't matter, and it helps you get closer to hearing what your own inner guidance, inner whispers, inner direction is saying. Hey, go towards that way. Yeah.
And hello to Shapeshifter in the chat. What are we talking about? We are talking about the Future Vision experience journey that Jennifer and I went on. You'll have to rewind because we've been chatting for almost an hour. So lots of things said, lots of things explored, but definitely good conversation. So I encourage you go back and watch the replay and go check out the full session too, which I've got there.
Both are good. There was more information that came through in this session about what we spoke about in the Future Vision session that was guided by Jacob. So yeah, I will rewatch it again because it's just, there's layers to the cake, or like a multifaceted diamond. That's, there's one position, but there's just so many facets that all are interconnected. Extremely important.
I think the last kind of message and guidance from the future, like the last message that came through, I think is what I would like to leave it with here. And I'll give you a chance if you have any final thoughts too, Jen. But the message came through of don't close your heart off. Don't have it too wide open either, but don't close it off. And I think especially right now, there can be overwhelm, there can be fatigue, there can be helplessness. Like there can be so many ways that that the external messaging, the propaganda that's going on in the world can push you to close your heart off, to close yourself off to those around you that you know and that you don't know. And I think that message of like, don't close your heart off, stay open, have your boundaries, use discernment, protect yourself, absolutely. But don't close off. Don't put up walls. Don't close yourself off because your heart is such a huge portal for bringing that new earth energy through. I mean, I think that's been a through line as well, as that connection through the heart with this future that we're trying to build.
Yeah, it's super important. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that flowed through. It's a practical way of applying that is, if you are someone that wants to help the world and they can feel quite helpless at times, especially when things are going off, the best thing that you can do is it's almost like imagining bringing your energy field closer to your body for a start, and then start with you for number one. Make sure you yourself and I are in a balanced, stable position. Once you're there, then you can, and you have the capacity and energy and resources and whatever that looks like to you, then you can start help, love, support, care for those that are closest to you. And really it's the idea of, when your capacity grows, you'll be able to help more people, but you have to be able, this is the container of holding your light, so you're able to assist and be part of others as well. But you have to start with yourself first.
Yeah, that classic really, like, secure your oxygen mask before helping others.
Yes, absolutely. And so when you focus your care and attention onto things that are closer to home, you will feel more fulfilled. You will have a greater sense of connection with even local community projects or groups, or whether they're online or in person. this is where the close bonding, because sure, if you've got the resources or the time or interest to help those that are much further away from you, go for it. But especially those that feel overwhelmed, anxious, feeling emotionally unstable, is just come way close to home. Maybe just start with you, and then as you build up, you can start to hold space for others, because you've held space for yourself. And that's a really good way to grow your discernment, grow your stamina, not get burnt out trying to help others. If you haven't helped yourself first, you're going to burn out extremely quickly. And I can say that because I've had personal experience. So I know the telltale signs of, you've got a big heart, you've got, you're really good at whatever you can do. And sometimes you can overstretch yourself. And it leaves you burnt out and often resentful, because the balance, the exchange of balance isn't there. And you know how it goes. So oxygen mask on first. Anyone that says don't put your oxygen mask on first, I would be highly suspicious of what their motives are.
Yeah, definitely. Super solid advice. And if you want to hear more insights from the future on how we are building that new Earth and building that beautiful future that Jennifer and I keep tapping into, go check out the full Future Visions session that I've linked there in the chat, or you can go to either of our channels. If you're watching on either of our channels too, make sure you go to the other person's channel and hit that subscribe, hit that like, because we definitely are building that community together, and supporting each other is how we get that message out there, get these messages out there. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. Those watching live, we love you. We appreciate you. Those watching on replay, we love you and appreciate you too. Definitely leave in the chat, leave in the comments what resonated with you. If you watched the full session, or you go back and you watch it now, let us know what stood out to you. And if you have any follow-up questions, or if you have thoughts or topics that you want us to explore in the future, let us know that too, because we're doing this for the collective. Our goal is to help bring that knowledge, that insight back, so that we can all build that future together in the best way. So let us know. Jen, any final words from you?
This is how we build New Earth. This is collaboration, heart-centered collaboration, and focused on solutions rather than problems. So we're doing it. If you're here, you're watching, thank you for being part of this journey, and we're building it together. How exciting! So yeah.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Ben. Good to see you guys. And yeah, isn't Jennifer great? Definitely go replay, catch the beginning, and go watch the full session. All right, y'all. Join Corbin and I on Saturday for our Lunar Reflection show. I just got that scheduled. And of course, Jennifer and I will keep working together too. So stay tuned for our next collaboration, our next Future Visions session. And we look forward to seeing you all then. Sending you guys love.
Lots of love. Bye for now.
Bye, y'all.